This is Channel 5 News in the headlines. The Integrity Commission places increased public outreach on its agenda. Attorney General Levi Peter advises opposition parties to get more proactive on the issue of cleaning of the electors list, and police solve a murder of a Roseau man on his one-year death anniversary. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. Welcome back. First up, the Integrity Commission hopes to expand its public outreach efforts as part of building public understanding. Andrea Dui has that story.
The Commission was first constituted in 2008 through legislation passed in 2003. A key role of the Commission is the promotion of integrity among public officials. Its ongoing public education program is aimed at senior students of secondary schools.
This whole initiative came in because within weeks of my getting this appointment, I was confronted by a group of boys, about 5 of them, when I was at one of the local supermarkets, and tell me, "You, Southwell, is you that doing Skerritt's dirty work for him? You're the new chairman of the commission." And here it is, I turned back to ask them what was the dirty work I was doing for Skerritt. And they couldn't answer. So I said, look, educate yourself and try to find out the ramifications of what people are involved in before you accuse them. And then I turned my back on them. So I came in here at the first meeting of the commission. I said, look, we must try to educate the people. I know there had been efforts by the previous commission to carry out educational programs, but undoubtedly we have to continue whatever was started in the education of the people.
Secretary of the Integrity Commission, Helen Ambo, says a main pillar of the commission is education.
And the thrust of the commission is education, and that is one of the main pillars. And in that regard, the Commission has organized an outreach session for youth and is meeting, firstly, the secondary school students within the Roseau catchment area. That has been done for 2 successive Wednesdays, and this Wednesday coming, we will have the 3rd session. Of course, the Commission has launched its education program, and it is hoping that this program will expand with time.
In other top stories, while the opposition continues to raise concerns about a bloated electors list, the Attorney General says cleaning of the list is not a government responsibility. Attorney General Levi Peter was speaking in the context of registration of voters for general elections. The Registration of Electors Act makes it clear that a person shall remain registered as an elector unless and until his name is deleted from the register because he has died. An objection to his registration has been allowed. He has been absent from Dominica for a period exceeding 5 years, or he has become disqualified for registration as an elector under the Act.
So that is what that is saying there, subsection 3, is that people who fall within that category should not be on the list. That's what we talk about cleaning the list. Essentially, that's what they're talking about. Now, it is for the individuals, for example, the political parties. They all, especially where you cover the whole island, you're in all 21 constituencies. Your people and your party machinery should be in place to know who died in this village or in this constituency. Yes. You should have your people making a list, and then you provide that list to the electoral office so that they can make whatever adjustments, because they can't just take people off the list.
AG Peter explained that a preliminary electors list of those eligible to vote is published for each polling district no later than 30th September of each year. The Registration of Electors Act states that an objection notice is published on publication of the preliminary register. This notice allows the general public the opportunity to scrutinize the lists and make objections where necessary, and to bring to the attention of the Electoral Office or the registration officers in the polling districts any discrepancies found therein. A final corrected list of electors is published by 30th November. Peter noted that a report of visiting experts providing technical assistance on electoral matters indicated that the Electoral Office received no objections to any voter during the electors list display period last general elections.
It's to your benefit as a political party, especially when you keep complaining about lists being bloated and not cleansed. It's to your benefit to do what you can do. You can't do what the government's supposed to do, but you can do what you're supposed to do, which is to ensure within your power that you collect all information and provide it. Politicians know that because the outside agencies that have come here, either as observers or advisors and consultants and so on, have made that plain in their reports. So it's there, and all parties, all political parties, the hierarchy of all parties know that. The reason that it is said that the political parties should be more proactive is not because one wants to simply put more of a burden on them, but there's a self-interest.
Peter said the existing legislation also addresses the role of the chief registrar through the registry to submit a list of people who have died to the chief elections officer during particular periods.
However, the chief elections officer cannot just strike out the person's name just like that, because if you think of a number of situations, you can have people with the same name. You have, sometimes, so there has to be checks and balances.
Moving on to tourism, Dominica's wellness sector has begun the process of putting together a properly packaged product to take advantage of a $3.7 trillion global wellness industry. That was the aim of a wellness sector stakeholders meeting on Friday. Quality Assurance Officer with the Discover Dominica Authority, Kathleen Robinson, says this meeting aimed to assess what already exists and provide suggestions on how to move full steam ahead with the development of that sector as a niche for destination marketing.
It has been on the cards for quite some time. However, now is the right time. Dominica is what we can say pregnant with wellness advocates and persons who are already involved in the wellness sector. And we already have persons who have attempted to create associations and collaborations. So it's on that we are working with in terms of going forward and having this meeting as a first step in gathering the most updated and current information that already exists in the island.
Robinson says Dominica has a wealth of wellness opportunities to offer to the international market, and stakeholders should capitalize on working together to ensure Dominica reaps the benefits of this multi-billion-dollar industry.
Every person I have spoken to is really excited about this initiative and seeing that we can go forward with it as a country, as a nation on a national scale. We're working together with Discover Dominica Authority and making this what it should be, or whatever it is, but just structuring it more and streamlining the services and creating great packages that will increase visitor arrivals to the country. Because we have the potential. We may not have as many resources as the first world countries, but we have a lot more resources than we give ourselves credit for. And we are looking for the positive aspect and doing our thing.
The next step in the process is to create packages of the wellness sector to market to the global village. In other developments, the small business sector in Roseau North can expect to benefit from funds earmarked for that constituency. Prime Minister Skerrit told constituents at a town hall Thursday evening at Goodwill Primary School that funds would be allocated for road upgrades and the small business sector.
But we recognize that the investments we are making, you deserve it and you need it. So we are committed to that, ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding the fact that we do not represent you in the parliament. So tonight, I want to make some commitments to you. Tonight, I'm making a commitment for Roseau North of $500,000 for small business assistance.
Jolly Lane, Winston Lane, and Margaret's Gap in Goodwill are down to be rehabilitated, and roads in Stock Farm and Mont Daniel will also receive some attention.
The roads in Stock Farm are very bad. And so we are committing to one road in Stockfarm. And there's also the road where we build the Petrocasas. We're committing to constructing that road. I have been to every part in Mount Daniel, and the roads up there are terrible. You know? So we'll be doing the first phase from the judge's residence in Mount Daniel, just past Mrs. Jackson's house. And once we complete that, we will take it up to this last house at the top of the mountain.
$550,000 have been approved for the construction of 50 washrooms in Roseau North, while preliminary works for home repairs is expected to start as early as next week. You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, we'll tell you what one businesswoman has to say about her humanitarian work in Dominica. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. A Grants Bay man has been charged with the murder of Margavin Peters of Kings Lane, Roseau, a year and 2 days after his death. Police PRO Inspector Pelham John Baptist said the investigations completed on Friday when police charged Desmond Rock of Mountain Grants Bay. Rock appeared at a Roseau Magistrates Court where the charge of murder was read to him. Margavin Peters died of a gunshot wound to his abdomen on May 17, 2016, following an incident at Grants Bay. Businesswoman Melissa Skerritt says she pays no mind to critics questioning her humanitarian work as she plans to impact the lives of more disadvantaged groups. She recently launched a snack program at 2 Roseau schools under her Melissa Skerritt Foundation. This was Mrs. Skerritt's response when asked what she thinks of negative criticisms about her foundation's mission.
I don't say anything, but I really have to continue the work that I am doing. Essentially, the critics, majority of them are not even helping themselves. So I do what I have to do. The parents are very appreciative of it, and it does create an impact for the betterment. And we are brothers keepers, and if you are in a position to help, then I believe that you are obligated to do so.
Mrs. Skerritt says she hopes to reach more students with her snack program come September.
Presently, we're targeting about 2,000 meals per month. And in time, we will expand and triple that. In terms of the sustainability, I have sourced benefactors who have come on board with me. I also myself fund some of it. So that's essentially how it runs for now.
Well, disadvantaged mothers from around the island with young children will get some added financial support soon from the state. This as Prime Minister Skerritt disclosed that a special allowance will be approved for mothers in the upcoming national budget.
In the budget coming up, we will go to the Parliament and put in a special allowance for mothers with babies in Dominica, so that your baby will not have a diaper for the whole day, and you do not want to change it because you only have one left. So you're waiting for the night to come to use it, and your children get rashes and all the smacks in the bodies, ladies and gentlemen. So we will give you an allowance so you can properly provide some of the basic things for your babies and let them live healthy and decent lives.
And the opposition United Workers' Party believes that renewable energy should play a bigger role in the development of Dominica. The party believes that government can cut unnecessary spending if it embraces the use of renewable energy.
In Team Dominica United Workers' Party, we are looking at alternative technology. Again, there is transformation within the world, and we have to align ourselves to the rapid pace in technology. So we are looking at solar energy, we are looking at wind energy, we are looking at recycling plants. Basically, what we wish to do is to cut on our expenses, because one of the problems which plagues Dominica's economy is the high cost of production. Electricity bills are very high, Now, of course, we have a government that has been very flirtatious as far as reducing cost of production. They have been talking about the geothermal energy movement, but what have we seen? Even within that department, we have seen waste.
Francis's sentiments were backed by his colleague and Member of Parliament for Roseau Central, Joseph Isaac.
We'll see that we had a presidential building, no sustainable energy use, no solar. On that same building, no system to, let's say, have for wastewater disposal or to use in toilets, etc. On all our public buildings, that was never done. To say you can collect rainwater and use it for flushing toilets, that I've never done. In regards to, we have in our manifesto, and we have pointed it out, that schools, hospitals, all the different public sector buildings, no solar panels on them. We are just blowing electricity every day and just sending out money. That they can easily be done. We spend close to what, 60-something million, 70 million on the geothermal, and not even $500,000 or $250,000 or 100,000 on solar energy.
That's news. We join Kenny Williams for your sports highlights.
First up in sports, Dominica Olympic Committee had a complete change in executive at elections held on Thursday, with the highlight of the session being Billy Doctrove elected president over incumbent Felix Wilson. The vote count was 8-5 in favor of Doctrove, with one split ballot where a representative voted for Wilson and Doctrove. Meantime, the newly elected president says the executive has a challenging task ahead as they seek to rebuild the reputation of the DOC.
We know the role of the executive is a very difficult one because we are taking over an organization whose reputation and whose public perception and opinion is at an all-time low. So we got a lot of work to do. The vote tonight clearly indicates that member associations were not satisfied with the direction which the Olympic Committee was going. It was felt, I would say, that the boat was astray, and we have been given the responsibility to try and bring that boat on an even keel. It's going to take a great deal of sacrifice from my team up here, but I'm confident that we can go out there and regain that kind of confidence of the public.
Doctrove, a former ICC elite umpire, told his colleagues they should only stay in their capacities for the right reason.
We have been given that responsibility, and we have had an overwhelming victory, basically, because, as I said, the associations were not very happy with the direction of the Olympic Committee. And if any one of my members here on the executive have come on board with the intention of enriching themselves, I think now is the time to jump off the boat. Whatever our pockets are lined with now, whether it's gold, bronze, silver, paper, cardboard, that is what our pockets will be lined with at the end of our tenure. We're not in here to enrich ourselves at all.
The new president of the sporting body had this to say about investigations into alleged irregularities of past DOC executives.
Let me say straight off the bat, I am not one to conduct any witch hunt at anybody. That is not my style. But I must say, during our normal operations, if we come across any area that needs to be investigation, we won't turn a blind eye.
Doctrove told the media they will no longer be disallowed from attending DOC functions since their presence play a major part in sports here. He also extended an invitation to associations that were kicked out under the old administration to come back into the fold. Meantime, Marpin Sports reached out to Felix Wilson for feedback on Thursday's elections. However, Wilson said he had absolutely no comment on the matter. In other results, Glenn Etienne was elected Vice President. General Secretary is Phyllis Barron. Assistant Secretary-Treasurer Vanilla Wenham. Treasurer Barry Kazemi beat Philip White 8 votes to 6. Committee members are Dr. Jenny Alport Williams, Woodrow Lawrence, and Godwin Dorset. The International Olympic Committee required that by the year 2020, 20% of DOC's executive be female. 33.33% of the elected members were female. Sports continues with this item where former head of table tennis here, Edgar Berridge, is taking legal action against former president of Dominica Olympic Committee, Felix Wilson, for defamatory statements made against him. Berridge believes his reputation has been tarnished as a result and is turning to the law for justice.
He made some very strong allegation, which is definitely untrue. And because of that, because of the allegation that he made to my international table tennis federation, yeah, the IF suspended table tennis, and because of that, I was forced to resign. So it sheds somehow a bad light on me, and because of that, I had no choice to step down.
He says he is demanding an apology from Wilson, among other things.
One of the things that he will have to do, first of all, is to apologize. He needs to write to the IF, and let the IF know that the things that he told them that caused the Dominica Table Tennis Association to be suspended was untrue. He needs to do that, and I'm expecting that to be done very soon. He needs to actually apologize to me and to Dominica Table Tennis Association. Honestly, he has to pay. He has to pay for his mouth. And you don't just go around bashing people like this. And not only, I can imagine if it was said in Dominica, but he actually copied a letter to the IF, to the Olympic Committee, to the International Olympic Committee, to the CRTT, which is the Caribbean Regional Table Tennis Federation, and all these things. I mean, how can you just go publishing or making allegations on someone like this that's untrue?
Wilson has until May 25 to respond to the letter. Berridge is being represented by attorney-at-law Gildon Richards. On the cycling scene, the local governing body on the sport will host a series of warm-up races here beginning on Sunday as preparations continue ahead of the OECS Cycling Championships in July. President of Dominica Cycling Association says it's crucial for athletes trying to make the national team to participate in the warm-up races leading up to July's race.
So we have one scheduled for Sunday the 21st. So we're asking all, especially the national team, we are saying that you must participate in this event. So there is no excuses as to the national team members saying, well, they can't make it or something like that. This is almost like a prerequisite to represent Dominica, even if you're on the national team, but to represent Dominica, because we need to ensure that you're going to do, you're going to be doing your best.
He says the cyclists here need to get familiar with the route.
We're going to go over the same route. We may not do the entire laps, but it is something that we're going to, and because we have more races to come, and as the time gets closer, we will increase the number of laps that the cyclists will do.
Finally, we have an action-packed weekend of sports. In cricket, we can tell you that Dominica will play host to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, while Grenada will take on St. Lucia in the WICB Senior Men's Tournament from Monday to Tuesday. Games start at 9:30 each day. Meantime, in the Big Edge Gifford Tuse Softball League on Saturday, Sports Division will be looking to recapture the championship title when they come up against Pidit Savan at Poirier Playing Field from 6 p.m. On Sunday at Layo Park, Kalinago Red Force will do battle with Stuco Construction Hammers at 2 in the afternoon. afternoon. At 5, VF Inc. will be looking to outperform Domlec at Pore from 5 p.m. At Portersville, it will be Pentecostal Assembly against Kalinago team at 3 p.m. In football, 3 matches are scheduled in the DFA Domlec Women's League. On Saturday, defending champions and league leaders New India Goodwill Runners will take on Bombers Starlights at Benjamin's Park at 6 p.m., while at the Stock Farm Complex, it will be Mao Soka Strikettes versus New Generation Sports Club at 4. On Sunday, Dive Dominica Harlem United will come up against West Coast Jaguars at the Stock Farm Complex at 4. On to basketball, where PSC Falcons and SMA will battle it out on Saturday night in the Under-17s at Pishley from 7, followed by PSC Falcons 1 against EH Charles Cross over at 9 p.m. The action continues at Massac on Sunday night with Lady Panthers against 767 Sports Club at 6, followed by Sports Division Inter Schools versus Massey United Insurance Sharks at 8. And in Domino, the 2017 Guineas Knockout Domino competition will be held in Granby, Eggleston, Casgary, Castlebruce at Fanso's Bar, Fire Services, Ronda's Bar in Canefield, Ansdeme, Mornmachet, and Glenda's Bar in Layu. Matches begin at 11 a.m. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
Stay tuned now for your weekend weather forecast.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Korea. Today, weekend stable conditions with a dominant feature, which affected weather conditions across Dominica. We move on now to some early infrared satellite imagery. And what we see is this area of multi-layered clouds, and that is associated, or some of it is associated with a trough system. Earlier visible satellite imagery showed a few low-level clouds move across the area, and the earlier radar imagery indicated a few isolated shower activity across the islands. The weather tonight is expected to be partly cloudy with a few brief showers, and tomorrow weather is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with a few scattered showers. Small craft operators and sea bathers, please continue to exercise caution. The sea conditions tomorrow is expected to be moderate and waves are expected to peak up to 7 feet. Let's take a look now at the weather for the next 3 days. Well, tomorrow, Saturday, as I said, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with a few scattered showers. On Sunday, fairly partly cloudy skies with a few brief showers expected. And on Monday, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with a few brief showers. Let's take a look now at the Caribbean forecast. Well, occasional cloudy skies with a few scattered showers is expected for the islands of the Lesser Antilles. On the international scene tomorrow, well, sunny skies expected for the cities of Miami and Beijing. Partly cloudy skies expected for New York and Caracas, and partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some showers expected in the city of London. The sunrise tomorrow at 5:35 a.m. and will set at 6:29 p.m. For more information, you could always visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us next time for your next weather broadcast. Thank you.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Integrity Commission places increased public outreach on its agenda. Attorney General Levi Peter advises opposition parties to get more proactive on the issue of cleaning of the electors list, and police solve a murder of a Roseau man on his 1-year death anniversary. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona John Baptist, and to our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Have a good weekend.